So, far away Lucas, who's your favourite character from Metal Gear Solid 3?
Well, it's got to be just Ocelot Revolver. Oh, God, no. I've got his name
Ocelot Revolver, is that his name
Revolver.
Okay, fair enough.
Let's try that again.
No, I'm not doing another take, that's staying in.
No, Karl, no.
No, that's the... There we go. Move on, fast, done. So, Lucas Faraway, he's the same naming convention you use for Revolver Ocelot. Would you like to let the lovely audience at home know what the topic of today's conversation is on this episode of Wiki Weekends?
Yeah, today we are talking about Boss the.
AKA The Boss, AKA the baddest ass bitch in all of Metal Gear, and we'll be referring specifically to the Metal Gear Wiki. And we're going to start straight away with some potential band names for people out there. So we've got The Boss, also known as The Joy, also known as the Mother of Special Forces,
What?
also known as Legendary Soldier, and Mercury Lady.
Oh!
This is one of the reasons I fucking love The Boss in terms of Metal Gear lore, because she is in one game, and yet she is like given the most amount of respect of anybody. So like whenever they talk about The Boss, it's like, oh yeah, she invented Special Forces. How? Because she's the boss. Oh, sorry for questioning you.
Okay then.
And people are wondering, oh, like, what the fuck are you on about, Karl? Like, in Metal Gear canon, the boss basically invented all of Special Forces, and she fought in every conflict leading up to the Cold War and basically combined everything she learned from all branches of the military to create what we now understand to be the Special Forces. And she also, as well, invented CQC.
Oh yeah.
Which I fucking love. She invented a new way to punch people.
She did.
That's awesome. The boss. So we want nationality, American, and don't you fucking forget it. Born 1922, died September 2nd, 1964 in the USSR. So that makes her 42 at the time of her death. Physical description: eye colour, bluey grey, hair colour, blonde, ethnicity, Caucasian, and height 178 centimetres or 5'10". So if she was a man, 6 feet tall. Career and family information, affiliations: the Philosophers, the SAS, the Cobra Unit, NASA, the CIA, Foxhound, and GRU.
She's part of NASA.
Yeah, because she went to space. You don't remember? Yeah, that's in her backstory. Yeah, the boss went to space.
Okay.
And she was just in space. I love Metal Gear so much. I'm sorry if anyone can't follow this. I've played every Metal Gear game. I still can't follow it. It's fine. But I love though, like, she leads the Cobra Unit. How fucking badass is that? The Cobra Unit, man. So awesome. And we have notable family. Her father, who's like just unnamed. The Sorrow, who's her lover. Ocelot, who is her son. And Naked Snake, her protege. So Ocelot's her son.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and here's the cool thing about Ocelot. She gave birth to him on the beaches of Normandy. Via cesarean. Yeah,
What?
That's a thing. Created by Hideo Kojima and designed by the legendary Yoji Shinkawa.
Hell yeah.
And like all of his artwork is just so sick. Then we've got voiced by in Japanese, Kikuko Inoue, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, and then voiced in English by Laurie Allen, mainly notable for her other role as the news anchor lady on Family Guy, in which she uses the same voice. It's the exact same voice she uses. So it's like, oh, whenever I watch Family Guy, old episodes of Family Guy, she's in, I'm like, that's the boss. Why is the boss a news anchor? That's so dumb. I love this as well. Before you continue on to like the main body of the article, it says here, this article is about the legendary soldier, The Boss. You may be looking for her apprentice who would become Big Boss. Which we can get into straight away, because that's my favourite thing about Metal Gear, is like the naming conventions of... So the lady we're talking about today, The Boss, aka the Mother of Special Forces, trained a guy called Naked Snake, who went on to become Big Boss because he surpassed The Boss in terms of his skills. And Big Boss would then go on to become known as the greatest soldier who ever lived. And we'll start, as we often do, with a quote from the character we're talking about, and that's a quote from the boss here of, is there such a thing as an absolute timeless enemy? There is no such thing, and never has been. And the reason is that our enemies are human beings like us. They can only be our enemies in relative terms. The world must be made whole again. And that's like her whole character arc, where she goes to space, sees the Earth, and goes, wow, war is so fucking pointless. What is the point of war? And becomes a double, triple sleeper agent. The story makes no sense, but basically, she sacrifices herself for America. So she's like the most American character ever. I love it. So,
But she dies as like a technical traitor of the US?
Yeah, she dies as a traitor to give the United States and the Soviet Union an enemy to fight against.
Yeah.
And Big Boss gets really sad about it and he cries. And you have that, like, the most manly moment in a video game of just him saluting with tears in his eyes and a gun. It's like, oh, it's so good. And before we move on, there's one part of this introduction I need to talk about, and that is that with the Cobra Unit, she helped secure victory at the Battle of Normandy, which is the real battle that happened in our world, but in the Metal Gear universe, wasn't won by thousands of soldiers working together. It was won by the Cobra Unit. And Lucas, do you remember what the Cobra Unit is comprised of?
Comprised of just what? A bunch of supernatural soldiers, essentially?
Yeah, it is comprised of the boss, so a very, very talented soldier lady, which is the most normal person on the team. You have the Sorrow, who is a psychic, who can read people's minds. You have the Pain, who is a man who is covered in bees. You have the Fear, who is a unnaturally limber, tall man who can turn invisible and eat spiders. And then you have the End, who is a 100-year-old sniper who is also photosynthetic, so he can absorb the sun to power himself. And then you have the Fury, who's just a man inside of a suit who flies with a flamethrower. It's like, I'm going to imagine when the Nazi war machine looks out onto the beaches of Normandy and they don't see thousands of American and British soldiers. They just see 5 people get off a boat, one of which is covered in bees, like, I give up.
Oh, the Paint's my favourite, man.
It's because he's just covered in bees.
Yeah.
What do you do about a man who's covered in bees? You can't stop it. He's covered in bees. And I would like to go into the biography for the boss, but I looked and I did a quick scroll down. It's like 40,000 words, because Metal Gear is insane.
God.
So I say, like, we just skip straight onto personality and traits and invite people who want to learn more about the boss, just go play the games.
Yeah.
They're not going to make any more sense, but at least you'll have fun and get to fight a man made of bees.
It's true.
But Lucas, like, what do you think of the boss as a character, though, before we go on to this?
I mean, just design-wise, first of all, she's so cool.
Yeah, like the pure white suit, the headband, which ends up becoming Naked Snake's bandana, the iconic bandana, which gives him infinite ammo, which I love.
Yeah.
And then in Metal Gear Solid 5, you can get that bandana again, and it's the most expensive thing to research. So if people not played that game, you control basically a military base, and you get to decide as the legendary soldier, Naked Snake, where all the resources go, and you can, if you want, put all of your resources, money and time and R&D efforts into recovering the boss's bandana just to get it back, and it costs like $1 million, and when you wear it, it gives you infinite ammo.
Oh, hell
So
yeah.
I can see why that'd be valuable.
That's more valuable than, like, making attack choppers.
It's so good. And then if you call up, I think Sigint, during Metal Gear Solid 3 while holding the Patriot, he talks about the fact you shouldn't have that yet, because it's the boss's, and Snake literally says, don't worry about it. And then he talks about, well, why does the Patriot have infinite ammo? And then Snake explains, well, the barrel is in the shape of an infinity symbol. And then Sigint goes, oh yeah, that makes sense. That would give you infinite ammo, never mind. And that's it. That's all you get to. It's like, what? How does that work? Also, it fires bullets sideways, which does more damage.
What?
Mate, Metal Gear is great. So we have personality and traits. The boss, has her original codename suggested, found joy in battle. However, when she went to space, her view on war changed. She believed that there was more to life than the Cold War and recognised the pointlessness of the conflict between the United States and the Soviet Union, and as such, longed for a world that would be united, in which people respect each other as human beings, as opposed to remaining in constant conflict. This is despite the fact she was herself a soldier. Ever since failing her mission in 1943, the boss had blamed herself for the atomic bombing of Nagasaki.
Oh, no.
Yeah, one of her missions during World War II would have ended the war, and she fucked up, which resulted in the dropping of the bomb. So she blamed herself for dropping the nuke. which is why she's so staunchly anti-nuclear weapon. So she blamed herself for the rise of the Cold War, having thought in retrospect that if she had succeeded, the Cold War might never have started in the first place. Because of this, she would go on to dedicate her entire life to her country and its faults based on what she felt was a conflict that she had brought upon the world. The boss would go on to maintain this strong sense of loyalty to her country as a soldier. Her loyalty was so great that she allowed the government to use her ruthlessly and knowingly had her killed by her own apprentice. So she willingly allowed herself to be killed because she knew that's what America needed. Like, do you know when they always say, like, should they redesign flags? They should redesign the American flag and put the boss on it.
Yeah.
Just put the boss on the American flag.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
So possessing great wisdom in warfare, she was a fierce soldier that sparked fear and admiration among her enemies, colleagues, and allies. Although she held a calm and collected demeanour, she possessed such a strong and overbearing presence that even Volgin, a man who can punch bullets, was intimidated by her. And I love that, like, because there's a couple of cutscenes where the boss is in it, and then Volgin's like steps up, and she goes, "Shut up," and it's like, okay.
He's like, "Oh God."
He's a 6'6" man who controls lightning and can punch bullets, and is strong enough to single-handedly take control of a bipedal walking tank called a Shagohod. And he looks at the boss and goes, "I'm not fucking trying it. Yeah. I'm not going to step to the fucking boss." I love it. It says here that despite the Joy being her code name, the boss rarely smiled during the events of Operation Snake Eater. And this is a little bit of trivia here. In contrast, her lover, the Sorrow, always smiles in all of his appearances with Naked Snake. So the Sorrow appears multiple times throughout the game, usually to help you. And if you look, every time he has a smile on his face.
I'm not going to lie, I never imagined someone called the Sorrow as a happy person.
He is, that's the joke. That
yeah.
The Joy fucking hates it, and the Sorrow's like, "Yeah, it's great, I love being a ghost."
Yeah.
Sick, innit? So we had, the boss was a proficient user of CQC. I don't think that's true. That is like the understatement of the century. She invented it. She invented CQC. She's not proficient at it. She was the master of it.
How much of that is like an insult? If you invented something and someone turns around and goes, "They were proficient at it." It's like, what?
Yeah. So one of the things that she can do in-game, she's the only other character you fight who can use it against you. And if you pull a gun on her, she'll strip your gun in-game and drop it on the field and you can't use it anymore. So it says here that she was able to execute a field strip at fast speeds against her opponents, often disarming them in a matter of seconds. On one occasion, the boss was able to disarm the aforementioned Colonel Volgin, a man who stood at a towering 6'7" tall, and knock him to the floor without any effort. The boss also possessed a tremendous amount of physical strength, as evidenced by her carrying the containers for the Davy Crockett launcher and the Davy Crockett shells, which had a combined weight which exceeded 300 kilos.
Oh.
And she was able to fire it by hand, something no human soldier has ever been able to do, ever. So we have behind the scenes here. So we have the boss is the secondary antagonist of the Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. According to Hideo Kojima, she was created specifically to be a motherly character in order to empathise the maternity theme that he was going for. This is further reflected in the boss's original design. I'm not sure if you find this. It's in the Metal Gear Solid art book, in which one of her breasts was exposed.
Oh no.
Yeah. This design also featured a snake tattoo around her breasts. This was so that when she fired a gun, it would appear that the snake was laughing.
What? Why?
Yeah, I'm glad they cut that. It's like, have you ever seen the early art of Sniper Wolf? A super awesome character in early artwork. She's cut like she's topless.
Oh.
But the fight against Sniper Wolf takes place in like the frozen tundra.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I get it, Hideo Kojima. You like hot naked girls. Stop putting them in your game. It's really creepy. Like the one with Quiet. Kojima revealed in the Metal Gear Solid 3 commentary that the boss's appearance was based on the English actress Charlotte Rampling. So a picture of her will be behind me, I presume, next to the boss.
Yep.
Yoji Shinkawa also confirmed this in an interview. A voice casting sheet from Metal Gear Solid 3 leaked before E3 2004 stated that the boss was a Green Beret and Navy SEAL, and that she was of British descent, even possessing a slight British accent. These details are not mentioned in-game. Not much is mentioned about the boss in-game, to be fair.
Yeah, not much.
Except she's a fucking badass, don't challenge her.
That did betray you, that didn't actually betray you, that wants you to kill her. It's like, okay.
The two lessons I've learned from video games are don't mess with the boss and don't pursue Lu Bu. It's the only ones. During the filming of the boss fighting Naked Snake at the Dramuchi North during Operation Snake Eater, Specifically the part where she says to Snake, go back. The boss's motion capture actress burst into tears because she knew what was going to happen to the boss at the end of the game. Oh no!
Oh,
she
no!
knew! She knew! There's a load of cool stuff like that in Metal Gear. It's like, do you know when you are under the waterfall and Eva is performing surgery on you to like all your bullet wounds and stuff?
Yeah, yeah.
And the part where she reaches over to touch Snake and he jumps back is because like the motion capture actor had never done a romance scene before and he was really nervous around women.
Oh.
So like, he was like a bit taken aback by a woman getting close to him, but they thought that worked so well for Snake's character, of him like not knowing what a woman is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they left it in. It's that's so good. That's so fucking good. Oh God. Oh, Lucas, do you want to hear the most like on the nose Zack Snyder-esque thing ever?
Oh my God.
According to Kojima, the boss battle with the boss originally had her wearing shooting goggles to hide her tears. Lucas. That's the lamest thing I've ever fucking heard. Oh. Fucking hell. And there's a small section here simply titled gameplay, which I think we can end on because we've both played the game, so there might be some interesting stuff in here.
Yeah, sounds good.
So we'll go with that. So, draining the boss's stamina during the final battle in Metal Gear Solid 3 will yield the Snake camo. So that's a thing in the game. If you beat all the bosses without actually killing them, you'll get their camouflage and then they'll explode. So, whatever. Which I found great. You can kill every enemy in that game, or you can go through that game without killing any enemy, but all the bosses just have micro bombs implanted in them and explode.
Oh, amazing.
It's best when the Fear does it. It just goes, the Fear! And then explodes. That scared me. It says here that though not as effective as the Fear's spider camo, it nevertheless provides a high camo index in the average environment. Yeah, it's like the best overall camouflage. Because of course it is, it's the boss made it.
Yeah.
It says here that if the player attempts to use the fake death pill, it does not work on the boss. Of course it doesn't. Of course the greatest soldier ever could see right through such a simple trick. If the player times the CQC right against the boss, which is a thing you can do, not a lot of people know you can do that. Everyone thinks that you can't CQC the boss, which you can do, but you have to time it right and counter her punches at the exact time they're thrown. And if you do that, you throw her, and she compliments you on learning and surpassing her.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's so good! But if she throws you, she insults you for not, like, learning her teachings and keeping up with the skills. Like, she shit talks you for not learning this thing. It says here that if the player times it right, the boss, instead of simply grabbing her arm and throwing it aside, Snake will flip her over, leaving her stunned. At which point, you can just pull out a shotgun and just open up on her.
Oh, no.
Which I've done in playthroughs before, and she takes it.
Oh, the
boss
honourable
takes
way.
that. She takes that point-blank range shotgun blast, stands up, and just kicks the shit out of you. But, oh man, the fucking boss. So cool. So cool.